a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We're back again. Brandon Rhymes here in studio. We got the Snoop Dogg in the house today. Jay Smith, a Snoop Inspection, and a longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're going to talk about the difference between a 4-point inspection and a full inspection. Also, new construction purchases, what to look for there as well. And more on the real estate market, of course, coming up here on today's show. Got a couple of cool clips we're going to play as well. And going to jump into some content here right away. On March 13th, by the way, I'm teaching a class over at GTAR. If anybody is in the real estate industry, the real estate business, come on over. And I'm teaching Win with Sellers over at the GTAR auditorium there, and it's they renamed it GTER. Jay, I don't know if you heard about that. GTR.
They lost a letter, I know.
They can't say association; they got to say GTAR. So I don't know how to pronounce it without a vowel in there.
I don't know.
Yeah, so GTAR anyways. So that's going to be March 13th, 10:30. Anybody out there wants to join us for that? Also, Brio Tuscan Grill, another opportunity to network with our team. The third Thursday of the month, we're going to be doing this all year. Come on out and meet us over at Brio Tuscan Grill, 6 o'clock, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Excellent food, delicious menu. 2223 North West Shore Boulevard, Tampa. Come on out, save that date, third Thursday of the month, and we've got flyers we can hand out for that as well. But we're going to give you appetizers. There's going to be a bar there as well, of course, and you can hang out and meet the show team, the producers, some of our real estate agents as well over at Brio Tuscan Grill, International Plaza Mall, and it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. All right, we always like to feature our real estate listings. We help our sellers maximize the exposure and the profit on the sale of their real estate, and we do that by featuring our listings live on air, maximizing the exposure, 80 outlets worldwide, and we got a couple of hot listings here. This one's right on the Gulf of Mexico, on the beach, 18522 Gulf Boulevard, Unit F. This one's Indian Shores, brand new listing, almost 2,000 square feet, and it's 3-bedroom, 3-bath, beautiful property right on Indian Shores Beach. I mean, you walk out your door and you're on the sugar sand beaches, dolphin-filled waters of beautiful Pinellas County, Indian Shores, 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1979 square feet, gorgeous property. This is a multi-level unit here, and you look out the right of the windows, and you're looking at Johns Pass. You're looking at Tom Stewart Causeway, that is, right there in Indian Shores. You look out the left, and you see the Gulf of Mexico from your unit. Beautiful property, updated with granite countertops, mosaic backsplash, and more. Another one of our 60 listings from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. All right, we got Burger Road back on the market as well. This is a great opportunity. I love this home. It's a large home up in northern Hillsborough County. This is Burger Road, 3704 Burger Road in Lutz, Florida. Mediterranean-style mansion. We've got a beautiful property here. 9 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms. 10,000 square foot indoor living space, full tennis court, basketball area, mini golf putting green, sauna, steam room, original Spanish style tile, two master suites with a jetted tub. Beautiful property, very unique property here. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, the Snoop Dogg's back in the house. Jay Smith, welcome in, sir.
I know. I'm here on this nice Florida wintry day.
That's right. It's so nice out. I love it. I love this time of year, man.
Well, wait a second. It's February. Isn't winter over for us?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we get those days where you have like the winter in the morning, spring in the midday. The kind of.
Yep.
And if you get an afternoon rain, there you go. There's our
summertime.
Yeah, exactly. Mixing it all together.
Works for me. I enjoy it.
I love it, man. And so we got Jay Smith in the house. He's our home inspection expert, contributor, commercial, residential. We're going to talk about the differences there. But the other Snoop Dogg was in the news this week. I don't know if you heard about that one. The rapper Snoop Dogg was in the news. Did you hear about that?
I just saw the headline. I didn't actually read everything that was going on. So
yeah.
What's up with it?
Well, I didn't investigate it too deeply, but I guess he's kind of like maybe on the Trump bandwagon a little bit. He's saying that he's doesn't have anything against him, and so it's a far cry from his 2017 video where they actually had this character in a rap video that was dressed up kind of like a clown, but he had the big white hair and the orange face. And he shot him in the video. So I guess that's
people can change their mind.
Yeah, he changed his mind, exactly. Well, I think that's the point. Is this going into this year is a lot of people change their minds. Not only a lot of the minorities, but just more and more people independents are coming over to the Trump train and saying, look, this is common sense, guys. This is common sense. Economics, peace deal in the Middle East, no new wars. I mean, on and on and on, right?
Well, and the thing of it is, I look at it that your best friend that you've had your whole life, I wouldn't want him to be in D.C.
Right.
Am I trying to send my best friend to D.C.? No, I want someone up there that's going to get things done. That simple.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely, and a proven track record at this point, right? I mean, a proven track record. The best wages, the best lowest gases, the gas prices,
energy,
vibing economy, exporter of energy. I mean, on and on and on. We know how that plays out, but hopefully we'll have enough people on the team this time to, we have to outpace the fraud that we know is kind of baked into that Democrat vote.
It's going to be a fun year.
It is. It's an election year, quote unquote.
Yep.
So I've been pumping up the satellite phone store a lot lately. But hey, I always say get prepared. Prepare. What do they say? Just like carrying a concealed carry or having a gun, right? It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
If you're looking to leave the country and move to somewhere else like Costa Rica, I'm there to do the inspection. Just give me a call.
There you go. That's it. We'll get you on a private flight from Captain Will Smith.
I am set. Come on, Will. Let's go.
Will Smith Aviation fly you down there in a jiffy. So, Jay, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about real estate here locally. One of the big differences, analyze the differences, because a lot of times when I'm taking a listing, I'm talking about a 4-point. I'm saying, look, let's do a quick little 4-point. It's not going to cost you as much. 4-point inspection, you're going to cover the major 4 points of the home, the plumbing, the roof, the electrical, the AC.
Exactly.
And then you have an option for a full inspection. What's the difference?
The difference? Well, think about this. A 4-point, when I go to a house, I'm going to be there less than an hour. We're only checking the basics, where with full inspection, you're more than 3 hours on the average inspection. And, for instance, kitchen. All we're doing in the kitchen is double checking that you got GFCIs and that they're actually operating, and looking at connections. Is the sink leaking? Are the connections good with the dishwasher and refrigerator? But that doesn't mean I check the refrigerator and make sure it's working properly. I'm only looking at the connection. Where with a full inspection, we're going to check the temperatures on the AC. We're going to run the dishwasher and see if it's running through a cycle. And that's just in the kitchen. You go through all the rest of the house, it's the same thing. Full inspection, we're going to check every outlet that we can get to. We're also going to check windows, doors, and all that. That's not a part of a 4-point. The 4-point is just looking at the basics and making sure there's no major issues, even looking at the brand of the electrical panel. But we're not checking every outlet with that. That's looking at the electrical panel. And then, water heater, just looking at the basics, same thing. And a main report, if it's, let's say it's a 15-year-old water heater, I'm going to let you know, hey, this is getting a little older. But on a 4-point, all I'm doing is writing down the year. I'm not letting you know to prepare. It's just like, this is a statement of what I'm seeing.
Right. Yeah, I get it. What about cracks in the driveway?
not at all. Not at all.
I had that on one last year.
If your windows aren't sealed properly on the outside, if they're not caulked correctly, that's not a part of a 4-point, but that would be on a full inspection.
Yeah, we how it is. When you're negotiating deals, I had a buyer on one of my properties mention cracks in the driveway and actually send it over as hey, this is something we'd like looked at, and I had to call them and say, what are we doing here? Are we serious about you? Do you like this home, or are you committed to this deal? Do you want this deal? Because when somebody puts in cracks in a driveway, I'm like, whoa, what are we doing here? It's I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll notate cracks in a main report, but I mean, they're so common. I mean, unless you're buying a brand spanking new house, if it's only even 3 years old, guess what? There's cracks in the driveway.
What is some of the craziest stuff you've ever had come up on or situation? Funny. Because you get into it. I mean, it's an emotional thing. Look, I get it. Sometimes there's emotions are high. People are selling their home. They've lived in it for 8 years and they built up a bunch of equity. And
well, I mean, we do a lot of inspections in Pinellas County, and you're doing these old houses from the 50s and 60s and 70s, And unfortunately, they have probably had critters in the attic at one point or another. You know, they may not be rampant when we're doing the inspection, and we'll notate if there's, you know, some things going on in the attic. But I'd say that's one of the funny things that, you know, what do you mean there's been something in the attic?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you know, it's just something's happened. Yeah, we were pretty bad when Irma came through and all the debris was sitting around. So rats were pretty bad in the St. Pete area, you know, and really all across the area, just because we had all those brush piles and trash and all that stuff sitting around for months before they got it all picked up.
Right. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, that's a big challenge there. What? So if you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Jay Smith, AKA the Snoop Dogg. He's the home inspector at Snoop Inspection, founder and owner of the Snoop Dogg Inspection Company. So Jay, when you look at also another area right now, because a lot of people over the years are like, hey, I don't want to buy a resale. The inventory's been low. People might shift their thinking and saying, hey, maybe I'll buy some dirt, build my own new construction, or I might walk into one of these builders to buy a home constructed by them. What are some of your ideas around that, and what do you got to be careful for when you're thinking about that?
Well, I mean, building has been doing very well. It has slowed down some, but it's still tough even for the county inspectors to keep up with these things. And they're only looking at the basics. So if you really want a complete inspection on new construction, you should call a regular home inspection company. I mean, whether it's myself or someone else. And we're going to go through the house and still be there for several hours checking it out. You know, a county inspector is looking at one specific thing, and they're going by there for 5 minutes. And then they're out the door onto the next inspection. Yeah. And it's nothing against them. That's just their job, and we have a different job that we need to do.
Yeah.
So if you really want to know what's going on with the house, I would recommend having a full inspection done before you do your walkthrough.
Right.
Basically, you're coming down to the end, you're going to do it then. Now, if you want to be really proactive, I would say do a pre-drywall inspection.
That's it.
That's so you do that prior to the drywall going up. Usually the insulation isn't in, but all your rough ends are in, your windows and doors, your roof, all those things are done at that point, and we can get a good visual on the entire house.
Right. Yeah, and that's the key, is to make sure that you're not just relying on the home builder, because a lot of times they're building multiple properties in a neighborhood, and it's kind of it's one after the other. It's kind of a Henry Ford, kind of production, right?
I mean, I hate to say it. I mean, you've got these superintendents that are running multiple properties, and I think most of them in the area are overloaded. I mean, they can be running 30 houses at one time and getting them done. I personally don't think they should be running that many, but it's not my decision. The builder assigns that and says, all right, you're running this neighborhood, and you've got 30 of them going.
Right.
I would prefer if they were only running 15 or 20. But that's just not life today. I mean, some of these guys aren't staying in the industry. And then, do you have a good super? I mean, it's the same thing. You know, there's good doctors out there, there's bad doctors. There's good lawyers, there's bad lawyers. You know, if you got a bad superintendent that's keeping an eye on your house, that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So you want to be careful there. Now, the other thing to be careful of is when you do work with a builder directly, be careful about the situation where they're going to incentivize you to use their mortgage company, incentivize you to use their title company, and because with those incentives and rebates, there's going to come some strings, right? So there's going to be situations where, and I've heard where, they're holding an escrow, you have a dispute. Now, who the title company is basically a subsidiary of the mortgage company, the title company, or I'm sorry, of the builder. So you have these different scenarios that play out. So you got to be careful. You got to have the whole point is, in the word fiduciary comes to mind. When you have a real estate agent that's on your side working on your team, that word fiduciary comes into play. And what that means simply is that they're going to put your needs and wants and desires ahead of the builder or the opposite party, the opposing party. So when you have that fiduciary, it's very important also when you think about, I'm thinking about like Mark Hay, our financial advisor at 21st Century Financial. When you get into the financial advising space, a lot of these wealth advisors, so-called wealth advisors, are not fiduciaries, and they're more loyal to the investment company that's going to pay them a commission. So it's what I call commission breath, commission-based advice. They're going to go with the investment for you that's going to make them more points on the back, more commission, more rebates and incentives back to them. So let's take a quick break. More with Jay Smith, the Snoop Dogg in the house, A Snoop Inspection Company, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, I got a pretty cool clip from Russell Brand. He is very eloquent in his describing of our modern political, let's just call it the landscape right now. Coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify, or check out our YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite, sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show. We got Jay Smith in the house, the Snoop Dogg Inspection Company here, A Snoop Inspection, longtime friend of the show. Coming up as well, got a cool clip I want to play for you. Russell Brand has it, just hits it right on the head here. 605 Monterey Avenue in Clearwater. This is a beautiful property. I love this listing from the Platinum MVP team. This one's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2163 square feet. You have a large lot. It's kind of a cul-de-sac style lot as well, where you have no neighbor on one side, a beautiful foyer area, as well as a circular driveway, large courtyard, pool, private pool, screened in lanai, gorgeous property at 605 Monterey Avenue in Clearwater. Just a gorgeous opportunity right here, centrally located, close to everything. 1919 Lemon Street as well, Lemon Street in Tampa. This is another property that we've got listed right here. This one's in Hyde Park. You are looking at a 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow in North Hyde Park, almost 1,400 square feet of warm living space, hardwood floors. You have lots of updates here, lots of upgrades, tankless water heater, close proximity to UT, downtown Soho as well, and just a great opportunity. You can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, so we got Jay Smith in the house, A Snoop Inspection. Jay, tell us a little bit more about the company. What's new on your end?
What's new on my end? We're adding more inspectors. Yeah, I've got a great team out there. We're really covering the entire area from South Venice Beach and all the way up to Crystal River. So I've got some good people out there with me. Of course, I'm always available for questions. I've been in construction for 39 years, so you have the experience here, and been inspecting for 12 years now. I'm coming up on my 13-year anniversary in 2 months. So
nice. That's
awesome.
awesome.
Been around for a while.
So reach out to the show, folks, if you want to get in touch with Jay Smith, you have any questions, or you just want to run something by him, 727-263-3707. Call or text that hotline, 727-263-3707. Any comments on the show, we'd love to hear from you. It really makes my day. I love having those conversations when you call in. Also, if you need any connections, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, self-defense experts, jets, boats, yachting, auto car dealerships, any questions you have, almost any field, we've got an expert contributor in that space. If you think about financial advising, Dr. Michael Schwartz as well. We got doctors on the team, water quality, quality, water science, personal training, fitness, home staging, so many different areas we can help you. Florida Firearms Academy as well. Reach out to the show hotline. We'll put you in touch, 727-263-3707. You can also submit an email over at consumerqb.com, consumerqb.com. It'll come right into play there. So here's a quick clip I wanted to get to.
But it seems to me that authoritarianism now is being deliberately veiled in the insidious language of care, concern, safety, and convenience. It seems to me that we're in a time where we lurch from one crisis to another, that the crisis is always used to legitimize certain solutions.
Doesn't that just ring? I mean, the way that he says that, I mean, it's one crisis to another.
Makes 100% sense, and it rings true. I mean, we see what's going on in our governments across the world. It's not just us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's this move right now. It's so the battle right now is there's a good, bad, evil versus righteous, and you also have globalist versus sovereignty of a nation. Mm-hmm. Remember Brexit? That's what the whole Brexit fight was about in Europe. And then of course Trump got elected in 2016, and it's the same thing. It's nationalist populism. We care about our country. Yes, I'm a white Christian nationalist, and I'm proud to say I am. But if you turn on CNN or MSDNC, they make it like that's a bad thing to be a Christian or to be loving your country, to love your country. So, but I love how he said that, and it's veiled in the insidious language of care and concern, like trust us. And there's a quote, what was it, Benjamin Franklin quote, something to the effect that when you give up your freedoms, now you have neither, right? You give up your freedom and your safety in the way of a government. But think about it. 9/11, what happened? Oh, the Patriot Act passes. Now they can go into all your different records. They're searching through your cell phone signals, et cetera. They're wiring the houses. We got a little bit longer in this clip.
And a docile or terrified public is willing to participate in this proposed solutions that usually involve giving up their freedom. We are continually being invited to give up our freedom in exchange for safety or convenience. And it seems that this process is radically escalating.
It's the haves and the have-nots in a sense, too. When you had the COVID lockdowns, the Chinese virus came across. By the way, there's been no repercussions against China at all. They actually invited them to San Francisco, clean the streets up for them. But when you look at that, the largest transfer of wealth in human history, I think it was something like $50 trillion, went from small businesses that had to shut down, that weren't, what was the term? Necessary or whatever. They were essential, right? Essential. Thanks, Alex. So, no, they're not essential, but yes, Walmart, liquor stores, porn shops,
Lowe's, Home Depot, they were big ones, boy. They made a ton of money.
Isn't that interesting, Jay? How did the small little guys get put out of business, but the big guys prosper? The Zooms, the Amazons, isn't it interesting? So it's really the more that we can focus on the working class, and that's again, this show is all about helping you as a consumer versus the big boys, versus the big kickback people.
Well, and people aren't thinking about the consequences of letting those, things go. I mean, if you're going to just give up on multiple things, let the government take over, there's consequences to that. And I don't think they're thinking about the consequences.
Yeah, and that's not even getting into the the trillions of dollars spent overseas and these endless wars. There's another strange lobby that's so powerful, right? Is that war lobby, that DC lobby. Look what's going on right now with with the Middle East. You have right when something happens, you have Senator Lindsey Graham coming out. Oh, let's hit him back, hit him hard, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's 70 years old, doesn't have any children, right? So you got these people that have no kids in the fight, no dogs in the fight, so to speak.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jay, take the last 30 seconds or so. Tell us how we can connect with you. All the folks out there highly recommend Jay Smith, A Snoop Inspection. You got to reach out to him.
Well, if you need to set an appointment, please call our office, 813-345-2600. You can find us online at a-snoop.com. And I'm always around for questions. I mean, feel free to if you just have a question about a house, give us a call.
What's that number again?
813-345-2600.
All right. And online at?
A-snoop.com.
A-snoop.com, online at consumerqb.com as well. Jay Smith, always a pleasure catching up with you. the real Snoop Dogg in Tampa Bay. The Tampa Bay Snoop Dogg. Florida, there we go. All right, good stuff. Taking a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to stick in the real estate industry, the construction industry specifically. Here we got Fred Muth, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1, at CQB Show. Subscribe on the Instagram. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get